right, guys, let's talk about straw purchases. Some people are just ignorant of the law, and they don't really know how things work and what is considered straw purchase and what is not. Now, recently, I was telling someone about that my record for the shortest time of having a gun was about 2 days. There was a time where I purchased a firearm brand new, and later on that night I was looking on the forums, and somebody had a gun that I really wanted more, and they wanted the firearm that I just purchased for a trade is what they were asking for. So I told them what I had, that I even had the receipt. I literally just bought this gun, but I wanted what they had more. So 48 hours time, a brand new gun that I purchased was totally gone from me. Private face-to-face transaction. Well, I was telling someone about that, and someone else had said, well, isn't that a straw purchase? Couldn't you get in trouble for that? And the answer to that silly question is no, that is not a straw purchase. And no, you can't get in trouble for that. So now we're talking about in free states, where you have private face-to-face transactions that you're allowed to do. Here where I'm at, we can sell anything that we can buy in a gun store. I can sell to someone privately face-to-face, or trade, or buy something they have. So let me tell you, let me give you a little bit of info about a straw purchase. A straw purchase is acting as an agent on another person's behalf to purchase a firearm. Whether they give you the money up front before the transaction, or they give you the money and reimburse you after the transaction, that is a straw purchase. You can buy someone a firearm as a gift and fill out the paperwork and literally give it to them as a gift right when you walk out of the gun store. That's not a straw purchase. You can buy a firearm in a gun store and later that night trade that firearm or sell it to someone on the forums or wherever if you just decide whatever reason you didn't really have as much money as you thought you did, or you didn't, or there's something you want more that someone offers for trade for that new gun. That is not a straw purchase. This happens a lot of times. Guys will go into a gun store and they'll get caught up in the moment and they'll buy a gun and not realizing that they just overspent and they're not going to have enough money, or there's another bill that hits their account and they don't have enough money left over. That happens in gun stores a lot more than you would think. But that in itself is not a straw purchase. Now, if you go in there and buy a gun because that someone told you that, hey, if you go get this gun, I'll buy it off of you later, wink, wink, hint, hint, and then you buy the gun and you try to pretend like it's for you, and then you sell it to this other person, that is a straw purchase. But if I was to go into a gun store right now and buy an AR-15, and I get on the forum tonight, and there's a guy in my state saying he has such and such for trade, and I want it, I can contact this guy and go trade my AR-15 that I just filled out the form 4473 for within the last 24 hours. I can go trade this firearm perfectly legal. Or I could give this firearm as a gift to someone if I wanted to. But always keep in mind, well, let me tell you this first. There is a lot of straw purchases going on out there, and the ATF, the government, they know about it. The main way straw purchases happen is by wives and girlfriends for guys that are restricted. Whether it's by, some people don't have a felony, but some people have a firearm disability. So let me tell you what a firearm disability is. A firearm disability means that you had a domestic violence, but it wasn't a felony charge, and you still aren't allowed at this point to own a firearm. So you don't have a felony, which automatically restricts you from a firearm. you are disabled from buying a firearm if you have a domestic violence on your record. There are other firearm disabilities as well, where you may not be allowed to purchase a firearm, let's say a certain kind of mental illness, certain other things that can happen where you don't have a felony, but you are disabled from purchasing a firearm. That would be a firearm disability. Like I said, the most common ways that straw purchases are made are by wives and girlfriends for a man. This is just fact, and all the ABCs and government agencies, including the government, know that this goes on. And it's something that you don't ever want to engage in. Most people don't know the law very well, so they don't think much of it. But if you're a female out there and your boyfriend or your husband can't get a gun for whatever reason, and you purchase this gun for him, and later he gets found with that gun, or something happens and he gets found with this firearm, you are going to prison. Yes, you are going to prison. You female that doesn't have any record, that's never had anything but a speeding ticket in your life, you are going to prison. Never forget that. It's not just, oh, well, we're just going to blow this off. Trust and believe you are going to prison. The entities that be are out there, and when they find what happens, they're going to track it down. They're not stupid. They are going to track who gave this guy the gun, and you are going to go to jail. Another way that this happens is by immediate family members. Brothers purchasing a gun for a brother, or a nephew for an uncle for a nephew. And like I said, guys, this is the main way that straw purchases happen. But like I said, keep in mind, if you do a straw purchase for someone, you could have a record that's so squeaky clean you don't even have a traffic ticket. You are going to prison, guaranteed. So my advice is, don't do it. Now, obviously, if you want to gift someone a firearm, which is legal in the free states and in the state I'm in, 9 times out of 10, you know this person pretty well, right? If you're giving a gun to somebody, they're probably pretty close to you. So you should know whether they're restricted or not, or a felon. That would not be a straw purchase. You should already know if this person has any restrictions or not, because if you're that close to them, normally you would know a lot of details about their life. I have given a firearm as a gift before, more than once. I wish somebody would gift me more firearms, but you can do that. Or you can get on the forums and do a face-to-face trade. I know, like, PA's different. Like, in the state of PA, where Pete from the Armory Channel's at, I believe the law there is you can do transactions face-to-face with long guns, but not handguns. But where I'm at, anything you can legally walk into the gun store and buy on anywhere in that gun store, from shotguns, long guns, handguns, whatever, braced pistols, whatever I can buy in a gun store, I can do a face-to-face purchase, sell, or trade in my state. It's nice. You know, you guys seen here recently where I just traded a gun, and 3 days later traded that gun for one that I've really wanted for a long time. Now, that was all totally legal. But imagine if here you had to have a background check performed on face-to-face private transactions. That potentially could have cost me $100. They're going to charge you $40 to $50 to go to a gun store and do a background check if you want to do a private face-to-face transaction in a state that's restricted. So if I'd have had to go to the gun store with the guy that had the gun that I originally traded, that would have been $40 to $50 just to fill out the form. Then the second gun that I got, that is one I've wanted for a long time, that would have been another $40 to $50. So within a week's time, I would have potentially had to pay $100 for this. And I'm background checked all the time. Literally all year long, I'm background checked with different things, and firearms as well as firearm purchases. So this is just asinine. Always remember that people do get caught with straw purchases and things like that. They do. Even if a person is legal and you act as an agent and buy the firearm for them, that is still a straw purchase. Even if the person that you're giving it to is legal, you still can't do a straw purchase. There is a big community on YouTube that started in the last few years of ex-prisoners making videos and posting them to YouTube. Some of these channels are blowing us gun guys away with the views and the subscriptions and everything. Some of these guys are blowing up. What they do is they are ex-cons and they get on YouTube and they tell stories and things about prison and what happened to them and just general things. And some of these guys are really pretty famous now. There was this one young guy that was making videos, and I was kind of watching his videos and stuff just because I just thought the dude was a complete cornball. He was claiming to be a gang member, and he was, you know, always like trying to brag, flaunt money and all this stuff, and the guy was still on probation out of prison. Well, guess what? This guy took pictures of himself with an AR-15 and a handgun and got busted big time. Now, where did this guy that had felonies in his background get guns at? Let me tell you what he did and how crazy this is going to mess his life up for years to come. He went to a gun store in his state that has rental guns, and he rented an AR-15 and a handgun, went into their shooting range, and had his girlfriend take pictures and videos of him with the guns, because keep in mind, gun stores don't background check you for rentals, because you're not leaving the store with the gun, you're not going anywhere with them, you're just shooting them in the range. So he had his girlfriend take pictures and video of him with the AR-15 and the handgun so he could floss and flex on his Instagram and YouTube videos and all his social media. Well, guess what? There was an officer from the gang task force unit of his state that had been following him on all of his social media platforms. All this stuff, him alluding that he's going to do drug deals out of state, him flashing money, flashing jewelry, and now firearms, and he has felonies. They investigated, and they found that he had rented these firearms at a gun range, and they are going to charge this guy just like that he had owned these firearms and had them in his home or in his car. And he is going to do years in prison for this. Years. Because he was stupid. I can't believe some of these guys are stupid. Now, there's a lot of these prison channels now where these guys are some really, actually great guys. People I would hire to work for me if I had a business. These guys have changed their lives around and are probably willing to hold fast to the law now more than average citizens that's never been in trouble, because they know what can happen when they go to prison. Some of these guys are like totally good guys with families and different things and have changed their life and are on the right track. But some of these younger ones in their 20s, they're starting fights with other prison channel guys, saying they're going to meet them to fight. They're showing money, alluding to doing drugs on camera, and all this stuff. And it's just stupid, just so they can floss and flex and act like something that they're not. So just be aware that you don't know who's watching. You never know who's watching, because this guy is going to go to prison. And all he did was rent the guns. He didn't even own them. And they're going to charge him like he owned those guns and had them in his possession. So, all right, guys, I hope you found this video interesting. Leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, this is DOF, and I am out.